When South Carolina seceded from the Union on December 20th, 1860, Major Robert Anderson stationed his force of 85 men at Fort Moultrie near the mouth of the Charleston Harbor, which later then transitioned to Fort Sumter on December 26th. Many people were questioning the appropriateness of the move, but soon Anderson's position became perilous. Just 4 months later, the commencement of the Civil War took place on this disputed soil. The Civil War began at 4:30 a.m. on the 12th of April, 1861. General Pierre Gustave T. Beauregard ordered his Confederate gunners to open fire at Fort Sumter, at that time only a dark shade out in the Charleston Harbor. Confederate Commander Beauregard was an artillery student at West Point, so skilled that his instructor kept him as an assistant for another year. This instructor was Major Robert Anderson, Union commander inside Fort Sumter. On Lincoln's first day in office, he received a letter from Major Robert Anderson. Anderson warned that without a shipment of provisions, he would have to surrender to the rebels. Lincoln didn't have many options, so he sent a letter to Jefferson Davis that if you let this food go in peacefully, it will be a symbolic manifestation of our sovereignty. If you stop it, then the burden of responsibility of starting a war will be on your shoulders. Before the food could arrive, Jefferson Davis ordered his army to fire away at the base. The signal to fire the first shot was given by a civilian, Edmund Ruffin, a Virginia farmer who had preached secession for 20 years. April 14, 1861, Fort Sumter was pounded by Confederate batteries, and 4 hours later, a white flag ended the bombardment. The violence at Fort Sumter motivated 4 other states to join the Confederacy. 4 others stayed at the fence. The only casualty was a Confederate horse. It was a bloodless opening to the bloodiest war in American history. The fort's large flagstaff was struck and the colors fell to the ground, and a brave lieutenant, Norman J. Hall, bravely exposed himself to enemy fire as he put the stars and stripes back up. Carrying their tattered banner, the men marched out of the fort and boarded a boat that ferried them to the Union ships outside the harbor. They were greeted as heroes on the return to the North. Lincoln's response to the surrender was almost immediate. The next day, he called for 75,000 volunteers for military service. A unity of purpose was found that swept across the North. Recruitment stations were packed with men and eager to put down the rebellion, but things were different on the border states. The governors of Kentucky and Missouri refused to contribute troops, and as more states sided with the South, Lincoln's problems only increased.